Hello everyone. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's been a while, been on vacation, but today we've got a really powerful topic to discuss. I'm back. Today I want to talk about the power of boundaries and how to embrace your right to say no. So, how's everybody been? Hope you've been doing great. Listen, in a world where we're often encouraged to be accommodating and selfless, setting boundaries can be a really challenging but a very essential skill. And yes, it is a skill. But in this video, what we're going to do is delve into the importance of boundaries and provide some practical tips that I came across, especially for dealing with toxic family members and friends or people who are close to you. So let's jump right in. Now, understanding boundaries has a vast aspect to it, okay? A lot of people don't know how to set boundaries, and boundaries really are not about building walls. They're about creating healthy, respectful relationships. What it's going to do is define what's acceptable and protect your mental and your emotional well-being. And let me tell you, I recently went through a few trials myself dealing with some people close to me, and let me tell you, it can be very draining. And I did take some time off to myself to recoup and just do me. And so I'm back, and I just want to share some information with you to help you self-develop in your very own personal relationships as well. So the first thing is the signs of boundary issues. Okay, so how do you know there's boundary issues? Well, first thing you want to do is recognize the signs. If you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling drained, or if you feel like you're being taken advantage of, it's really your body's way of telling you that something is up or it simply is not right. Okay, that is the number one way your body is trying to communicate to you internally to let you know something is off. And a lot of people seem to miss it, or they don't pay attention to it, okay? Or they're afraid to acknowledge it and do something about it. Now, the next thing is overcoming the fear, right? So, one big obstacle to setting boundaries is the fear of upsetting someone, upsetting other people. So let's go ahead and talk about how you can overcome this fear real shortly. And it's all about communicating effectively. So when you're setting boundaries, which is what you should be doing if you're around people, communication is very, very, very important. It's the key. You want to use I statements and express your needs very clearly and respectfully. You don't want to be rude about it, but you do want to make sure that you are referring to yourself. So now let's go ahead and let's focus on that part. It's very challenging for a lot of people. Dealing with a toxic family member or even your friend or a coworker, okay? What you want to do is identify if the toxic behavior. You have to pay attention. First, you'll need to identify the toxic behavior in the relationship. Sometimes it could even be, something you did or something that you said that actually started creating this type of energy without you even realizing it. And a lot of people do that too, and that usually comes from them triggering you. So something they could have said or did actually triggered you, whether it was unintentional or not. You were aware of it and it triggered you. So look for the consistent negativity and the harm that you are feeling inside. If you feel consistent negativity, that is a pure sign that someone may have crossed your boundaries. Okay. So the next thing you're going to have to do is assess this type of a relationship that you have with this person. So you have to consider the impact of these toxic relationships on your mental and your emotional health. Okay. And if you do determine that before dealing with these people or this person, your mental and your emotional health does seem to be a bit off, then again, that's your body communicating these signs to you. So you want to start limiting the contact with this person. If possible, you're going to eliminate the interactions with the toxic people to protect your very own well-being. You have to limit contact. If that's possible, you have to be able to collect yourself. You have to be able to heal and self-develop and then figure out what exactly is causing this. Okay? You can simply reduce or limit your interactions with, even if it's a toxic family member or someone really close to you, just to protect you want to protect your mental health at all costs, and then seek some support. Share with someone what you're going through. Don't ever go through this alone. If you are dealing with that right now, you don't want to do it alone. There's plenty of hotlines that you can actually call as well that have on-call professional therapists and people who are skilled in helping you cope with emotional abuse and mental health over the phone. Because a lot of times these days, to see someone physically, you would have to make an appointment and go through this whole interview process and stuff. So there's a lot of hotlines you could call, and I'll try to leave it across the screen, that you could call just to tell them and share with them what it is that you're dealing with. But whatever you do, don't go through it alone. And like I said, the best thing to do is connect with a therapist or some type of support group to navigate through these challenges, or share it with someone that you absolutely trust and who listens to you. And then you want to begin to start enforcing boundaries. Clearly communicate your boundaries with the toxic individuals that you're dealing with, and then also be prepared to enforce consequences if need be. It's not easy at all. It's a very hard thing to deal with. Setting boundaries is an act of self-respect, and it's an act of self-care, especially when you're dealing with a toxic family member or a friend or someone that you've been knowing for a good while. You have the right to define the terms of your very own life. Other people are so quick to do it. Other people will let you know in a heartbeat when you've crossed their boundaries. So why shouldn't you? It's your life. It's the terms of your life. And me personally, I was one of those people who kind of felt like me bluntly telling someone when I felt like my boundaries were being crossed, I kind of felt like it was harsh. But looking back now, I feel like it's a very necessary thing to do. It does protect your well-being and makes you feel more safe. And it does show a lot of respect for yourself, okay? And someone has to do it. And so that someone is you. Especially, if you are being cool, and they're actually not reciprocating that same energy to you. You cannot be afraid to put up boundaries with people who do not respect the fact that you have your own needs and your own values. You can't let them walk all over you. And you need to remember, it's your life. Don't be a doormat just because that's what they want you to be, or because it's a family member. It could be your kid, it could be your parent, it could be your boyfriend, your girlfriend, it could be anybody. Boundary violations can manifest in so many forms, and it's sometimes a lot of people are walking around here really stressed and don't even realize it's because most of the time the people that they're dealing with are just manifesting violations in their boundaries in many, many different ways, and they're not being dealt with right then and there. And I just wanted to do this video because I see lots of people talking about it now on social media, being disrespected by a close friend or family member, expressing deep dislike and hatred for the people they work around. And it's just a conversation I feel like that needs to be had, and I wanted to discuss myself simply because I experienced it as well. And I do, on my channel, I like to talk about things that resonate well with me and that I want to share on my platform. So yeah, let's, start recognizing various forms of violations, snooping, gaslighting, making decisions for others, showing up unannounced, staying overnight without asking you, guilt tripping you, using someone's belongings without asking them first, assuming something will happen without even clarifying it first, or, touching base with you first. Those are all signs that your boundaries are being violated, okay? And it's not your job to heal other people, please them, at your expense. It's not your job to make it work if the effort isn't being reciprocated or if it's not mutual. Continuously compromising and tiptoeing around them, anticipating their needs and ignoring your own, changing yourself to their liking. That's not your job. And oftentimes you got to face the fact that a lot of people that you love don't really give a fuck about you, for real. They don't. And it's sad. We would love for them to, but a lot of people are just really out for themselves. And you have to be very careful. But it is your job to heal yourself, to listen to your own needs and your desires, to respect you and your own time, to be your true authentic self, and to set healthy boundaries that's going to protect your energy, right? And it's your job to leave when you're not being valued. Say no when it's not in alignment with your growth. And you have to be mindful of when you say yes and when not to say yes. Because again, boundary violations, they can manifest in so many different forms and settings. Here are some more common examples that I've learned. Intrusion into your personal space. That's a big one for me. Someone invading your physical space without your consent is like standing too close or entering into your room and staying at your home without your permission. They didn't even ask you. Then there's manipulation emotionally, attempting to control or guilt trip you into doing something that you really don't want to do by playing with your emotions, sending you through all these up and down emotional roller coaster rides. It's an invasion. You'll start to feel uneasy. It's like the spirit is nudging you inside. Something is not right. So then you begin to do what? You start questioning every little thing with the feeling that's deep inside. Something isn't right. What that does, it interrupts your peace and it'll make you feel off track. It's really like it's really, really driving you crazy while everyone else is just living their life and going on about their day. So don't put yourself in that position. Constant interruption is another form. Repeatedly interrupting you while you're speaking, cutting you off, disregarding your need for uninterrupted communication while you're conversating with them. That is violating you. Or an interruption by not, taking what you're saying to them or what's being said to them seriously. Excessive demands, constantly, like making unreasonable requests or demands on your time, on your energy and your resources. It's like they don't care. All they care about is them. You have your own life and you have to remind yourself of that. Another way people violate your boundaries is by disregarding your privacy. You've got nosy people who want to be all in your business, reading your personal messages or snooping through your belongings without your permission or without you knowing, or eavesdropping in your conversation and listening. Just really, really trying to figure you out instead of just focusing on their own freaking life and their very own issues. They're sitting there, they're pretending like they're on their phone, but they're really listening to everything you're saying. You've got to pay attention. Overstepping in relationships, trying to control your friendships, your relationships, the people you socialize with, or your family connections, or causing strain between you and your husband or your wife, or the people you care about, Those are violations of your boundaries. When before this, it seemed like everything was going good and fine, and now you guys are arguing, the person that you're in love with or whatever's going on now, you guys are at each other's heads and throats and you have no clue why. Normally you get along. It's this person with this bad energy. It's almost like everything was going good until this person comes around or they come in the room or they get involved with you. And then ignoring, consent, stuff like engaging in any activity, whether it's physical, emotional, or sexual, without your clear and enthusiastic consent. It's a violation. Financial exploitation is a violation. What do I mean? Borrowing money without the intent to repay you back, using your finances, lying to you, just to get what they want for personal gain without your approval, only calling you when they need something or manipulating you into giving them some type of financial support. And any other time you don't even really hear from them at all. Those are violations. Gossiping and betraying your trust. Sharing sensitive or confidential information about you with others without your consent. Sometimes you share stuff because you want to share stuff and you don't care. Because quite frankly, we already know there's a lot of things you don't have to share. Now, some things like serious situations and your mom or your dad may be an exception where you might have to share this information and get other people involved because it's a serious matter or you need some input or insight. That's different. But ignoring boundaries, like even at your work, at your job, your colleagues or your superiors, like your supervisors, your managers, they're constantly pushing you to work beyond your capacity, or they're discussing your personal business when it's not even appropriate, or you didn't share something with them. Now they look like they're murmuring and bickering behind your back. That goes on in the workplace as well. Those are people you need to limit contact with. Even overbearing parenting, parents sometimes who are dictating every aspect of their kids' lives. All you're going to do is stifle them and their independence and their personal growth. You'll make your kids resent you. You can't, I'm sorry, I'm getting notifications, y'all. Parents, we've got to calm down as well. We have to let our kids the space to grow and figure things out on their own in their life. There's people out here cyberbullying, harassing, threatening, or, just spreading false information online, violating digital boundaries. It's not cool. Stalking. There's people who will stalk you, unwanted and obsessive attention, whether that's in person or through like some kind of constant online monitoring or trying to get all in front of you on the internet, on social media. It's a bad look, y'all. These are forms of violating your boundaries. And it's time that you have to speak up clearly what your boundaries are to people. Ignoring social boundaries, there's people that will straight up ignore them. Some people who frequently, someone who frequently cancels plans at the last minute or consistently arrives late, disregarding your time, disregarding your commitments. That is not cool. So it's really essential to recognize these boundary violations and take the necessary steps to address them appropriately. And so, most toxic people tend to want to focus on your mistakes while they're ignoring their own stuff. It's like all of us make mistakes, but you have to be able to fix your own mistakes. And some people just focus totally on yours. You should not have to pretend to be someone else just to keep the peace. Be you, be real. Real love and respect should not be traumatizing. You should not feel traumatized by real love and real respect. You don't have to spend time with people that trigger you emotionally in a bad way. Stop allowing people to make you feel mentally and emotionally exhausted. Stop killing your mental health, dealing with toxic people just because they're family or you've been knowing them all your life. And instead, just start setting clear boundaries and communicating your limits, using positive language, positive body language. If it permits you to do so, it is critical in maintaining healthy relationships and personal well-being. It's critical for you to keep your sanity. And that's all I have. Thank you for chiming in. I just wanted to share this because I personally had to figure this out myself. There is never let no one think that you are wrong for communicating clearly what your boundaries are, what it is that you like and don't like, and what it is that you will and that you will not tolerate when it comes to how you relate to each other. And so going forward, I made a promise to myself that I would start doing this more as well, but I've actually been taking some time just to you know, do some self-development for myself and just kind of figure out ways that I can improve for me. And I invite you and encourage you to try doing the same. We all have room to grow and evolve. And so, with that being said, I definitely want to thank you for tuning in today. If, excuse me, if you found this video helpful or some of these tips, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell down in the corner. And remember, your well-being matters, okay? Whether you believe it or not, your well-being matters. So embrace the power of boundaries and watch your relationships in your life start to flourish. You'll start to feel better over time once you start to do this. All right? So this has been a Candrea Fion production. And until next time, stay safe out there. See you guys again. Bye for now.